In today's tutorial, let's do the Hypnotic Tiles Afghan. This is a pattern by me, just for you, and of course it's free. Welcome back to the Crochet Crowd. I'm your host Mikey. Today we're going to work on a new Afghan that I designed, and this is called the Hypnotic Tiles Afghan. And this is using a concept of using layers that you see here with the Caron cakes. Now inside today's tutorial I'm going to break this down into showing you how to do one of these squares here, and you're going to also learn how to do the attaching here and also a final border for today. So I'm going to show you just a smaller version of this in order to do it, but you can see the entire version that I did for myself, and it did not take too long at all. So what I'm going to show you here, let's just break down some of what you're seeing here and let's begin to do that. So today's pattern needs a size 6mm size J crochet hook today in order to play. This is using Caron Cakes yarn. There is no doctoring of colors. So for example, Caron Cakes has about 5 different colors of yarn. You can see that it transitioned right about here, but the way that I've designed it, most of the squares will turn out that a lot of the outside here will be actually a solid color, and the transition will happen on the other side. So let's turn this over and look at the back. So the back, it looks like a set of ladders or graphing or mesh, and that's what we want to do. So what we're gonna do here is that these layers are playing on mesh. So we're gonna start off in the very beginning just very simply, and then once we get to a certain point we're gonna build on the mesh. So if you pull it backward you can see that this is on mesh and mesh and mesh and mesh. So this is really quite an easy pattern to be able to master, and because of the meshing it wants to sit up on its own to create the layers that you see here. So it's actually a pretty neat pattern to play with. So let's begin. Let's grab our crochet hook and our 6mm, which is a 6mm size J crochet hook today, and a Caron Cakes yarn, and I'm gonna create another one of these and then show you how to put those together. So let's begin by creating a slip knot, and this will be the center of our square. So we have the one on the hook that doesn't count as anything. So chain 3, so 1, 2 and 3, and insert the hook into the beginning chain and yarn over, pull through that chain and this one to create the center ring of your square. It's gonna be nice and tight for you. So let's move on to round number 1. So round number 1 we're gonna play inside this ring, which is nice and tight for you. So let's begin. We're gonna chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. This counts as a double crochet, and it'll make sense in just a moment or two. And all you just want to do is you want to double crochet into the center of the ring 3 times. Now this straggler, just leave it around the outside of this ring and trap it underneath the positioning of these double crochets, and it'll get stuck underneath. So quickly reviewing, you have a chain 3 which counts as a double crochet, then you have 2 more double crochets, so it gives you the number of 3. So to turn a corner in this square you have to chain up 2, 1 and 2. That's almost for every one of them except for the very final joining round, which is chaining a 3. So everything was chaining a 2. Coming back into the center ring, and I want to double crochet 3 times again. So 1, 2 and 3. And then back for another corner, so chain 2 and then back into the ring again. So 3 more double crochets. Just like that. So you can see you got 3 sides done so far out of the 4. Chain 2 to turn the corner, and then back into the ring again, 3 more double crochets. Just like that. Nice and easy, but your final corner is not yet done, right? You can see that there's a hole right there, so you have to chain 2 and then just join it to the top of the beginning chain 3 that you started with the slip stitch, just like this. So I want you to turn it over and get that straggler that you had been playing with, and get that out of your way now. Get it out of the way. It'll be less work at the end of your project when you go put things together. It's a tail that's no longer you have to deal with. So let's move along to round number 2. So round number 2 is about building and starting to get that mesh to work, but it doesn't work quite yet. It will in the future, but not yet. So we're gonna begin round number 2, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna chain up 1 and single crochet back into that chain 2 space. So this round is really quite easy. So you're gonna chain 3 now, 1, 2, 3, jump over to the next chain 2 corner, single crochet and turn a corner. So how do you turn a corner? Chain 2, 1 and 2, and then coming into the same corner, single crochet. So all corners then for this for these types of rounds, it's gonna be 1 single crochet, chain 2, 1 single crochet. We're gonna come along this edge again and chain 3, stretch over to the next corner, so single crochet, chain 2 and single crochet. Okay, skipping over to the next one again, chain 3, going into the next corner, so single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then chain 3. You're going along an edge again and then to the final corner. So in the final corner you already had a single crochet sitting there, so you're just gonna do 1 single crochet and then chain 2 and slip stitch to the beginning single crochet, and that was round number 2. So now you can see that you got the center and you got a pierce to this mesh that we need to create in order to do this particular square. So let's begin to do round number 3. So round number 3 is very easy, and every other round is very easy, which is the very same concept. The only difference is that this mesh will be in a different position in the future. Right now it still appears on top. So this is going to create the first layering that you see in the square. So we're gonna chain up 2, which counts as a double crochet, and in this chain 2 space come right back into it and put another double crochet just like this. So whenever you do these rounds here now, it's gonna be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, but we'll worry about that in just a bit. So this chain 3 space that we have, we're gonna put in 3 double crochets. So in every chain 3 space, when you're working with the mesh on the edge of a side, it's always gonna be 3 double crochets, and if you can remember that, it's really easy. So we're gonna hit another corner. So in this chain 2 space right in the corner, it's always gonna be the same. It's gonna be 2 double crochet followed by 2 chains and 2 double crochet, and that allows you to turn that corner nicely. So now you're gonna work along the side edge here, and there's always gonna be 3 double crochets into those chain 3 spaces along the sides of your square. If you can remember that, you'll be laughing. Okay, here's another corner. So the next corner is, what is it? If you said 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, you're right. Okay, so just remember that's what those corners are. This pattern is not hard to forget what it is, and that's the really nice thing about this particular design. It's really quite easy to remember. So then here's another chain 3 space along a side, so it's gonna be 3 double crochet. Okay, here's another corner that we're about to run into, so remember corners, so chain 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. And we're coming up on the final side. So the rounds that I'm gonna do in the future is just gonna be showing you how to get started and finishing them. This will be the last time I take you around an entire square, just so that you're aware of that. So this is the last side edge, and there's 3 double crochets in that chain 3 space. Now we had started off in this corner here, and there's already 2 double crochets sitting in there. So when you go to finish this corner, there'll be 2 double crochet followed by chain 2, and you're just gonna slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 right there. So this is what it looks like. So you don't see any layering happening because we're not that far yet, and we're gonna move on to round number 4, which we're gonna start then creating the layering look. So in round number 4, you can see that we have a mesh that has been created here, and you will see that we basically have done round number 1, 2, and this is 3, and this is gonna be 4. So do you see how it's a mesh just in here? This is what we're going to be creating, and so we have to watch for that. It's hard to write that in instructions, but we did the best that we could. So here's how you do that. So round number 4 and all of the other rounds are gonna be similar every time you're creating mesh. So you're going to chain up 1 and 1 single crochet into the chain 2 corner space. Easy. So before you can move on, you have to create these chain 3 spaces that you see that we already do. So we have to do that first. So 1, 2, and 3. Now here's the thing. If you go on the outside, you're just gonna create a flat layer. But if you go and start working with back posts in the behind, it actually creates the layers. So what I want you to do is I want you to do a double crochet back post. So wrap that hook, and I want you to come 2 rows or rounds below. So this round and this round. So 1 and 2. So see this? This is where we started right here, and we're gonna wrap the hook, and we're gonna come in from behind, out, and then back on the other side. So you're grabbing that single crochet that was in the corner, and you want to convert this now into a back post double crochet, and that's gonna pull it back. This mesh is then gonna appear onto that level and not to this level here on the outside. You're gonna chain 3, 1, 2, 3, so you're still creating the mesh, and you just happen to be running into another corner as you do that. So right here in the single crochet you want to grab that from behind. So just double crochet back post and grab that from behind, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3. So do you see how we started that? We had a chain 3, back post, double crochet, chain 3, back post, double crochet, and you can see that we're around this post now. So the only alternative here is on the corner. So on the corners then you just put single crochet, chain 2, see, just like you had, and then single crochet and turn the corner. So you can see that it's lifting off from behind, which is what you want. So let's begin again. So we're gonna chain 3 to begin, 1, 2, 3, and then coming down. Okay, so you've already grabbed this one from behind. Do you see that? So you want to go into this corner over here and just coming in behind with the back post double crochet. Then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then come into the next one that you run into. So as this square gets bigger, there's more and more of those posts that appear in behind. So it gets bigger and bigger, and then chain 3, and now you're onto a corner. So you just single crochet right into the corner, chain 2, and single crochet. So continue to go in that fashion all the way around, and you can see that this is lifting off from the back, which is what you want. And I'll see you at the end of this round. So as you come up all the way around, you're on the last final side, and you're just continuing to work your magic, getting those back post double crochets in for 2 rows below, chain 3, and then do the other one here. You just happen to be running into the other corner already. Of course it won't be that quick as you get bigger and bigger. And then to finish off the side you have to chain 3. Now this one already has the single crochet already in this one, so you're gonna single crochet, chain 2, and then join to the single crochet, and that was round number 4. Okay, so you can clearly see that there's gonna be a lift next time you go and play with this, and it's really quite easy from this point of view. So let's move along to round number 5. So round number 5 is just like round number 3. The only difference is that there's more mesh to play with in the background. Okay, so there's 3 sections here before there was just 1 in the middle, so it keeps getting bigger and bigger. So let's start our first corner, and I'm gonna get you started and then you can do the rest of the round on your own. You're gonna chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. Coming into the same chain 2 space, I want you to double crochet. So all corners will be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. So we're gonna start off in this corner and then continue. So we're gonna go right into the first chain 3. So just kind of lean this forward and you see them. And there's gonna be 3 double crochets into each one of these going around. Okay, so there's 3. You immediately jump to the next mesh here. It's a chain 3. And then you put in 3 double crochet, and then you come into the next one here, and look, you're about to hit a corner. So the corners, as I said, are always gonna be the same, and in the corner of the chain 2 space, it's nice and tight in there. It's gonna be 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. So what you can just do then is that you just continue along. So here's your mesh again. So you're gonna put 3 double crochets into each, run into a corner, and then continue along each side, and you can see that it's starting to lift off, which is exactly what we're looking for. So please do the rest of this round. I'll see you at the end. So as I'm coming all the way back around, I'm running into the final corner, and in the final corner remember that 2 double crochets are already there. So the very final corner is only gonna be putting 2 double crochets this side of it, and then you're going to chain 2, and then just join to the top of the beginning chain 3, just like that. So you can see now this is again working out. So what we have to do then in the next round is that we have to come in and create these layers again in order for the next layer that looks like this to build on top of that. So let's begin round number 6. So round number 6 is very much like round number 4. So what we're gonna do then is that we're going to be playing, and we're gonna be building on top of these sections that you see in behind. Okay, so just looking at it from the mesh, you're gonna be building on that. So let's begin, and let me show you how to do that. So we're going to start off with, and we're gonna chain up 1, and coming into the chain 2 space, I want you to single crochet. So before we get to the first one, we have to chain 3 first. So 1, 2, 3, and then coming 2 rows below right here, Okay, this is that where the mesh is. Okay, you want to do a double crochet back post around that section. Okay, so just popping it back just like that, and then you want to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and you keep looking for the mesh that is in behind. So here's another one, which is the next one, and you're gonna do a back post double crochet around that one, and then chain 3, and then look for the next one. So here's the next one right there. Don't be afraid to bend these forward in order to see it if you have to, and then chain 3, and the next mesh happens to be in the corner. So I've already got this one, so it's right here. So we're gonna do the corner one, back post double crochet, and then we're gonna come back up to where we are. So we're gonna chain 3 first, so 1, 2, and 3, and to do the corner just come right on the outside here, and you're gonna single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. So if you turn it around, you can see that the mesh was being built up onto the back of the other mesh that's already there, which will create another layer next time you go around this. So remember to start is chaining a 3, okay, and coming right into the corner piece first, and you're gonna do a back post double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then coming into the next section right there. Okay, it's a back post double crochet, and keep doing that all the way around, and I'll see you at the end of this round. So I'm coming up all the way back around, and I've got this last one in down here, and so then I've just got a chain 3, which I have, and I'm gonna come into the final corner, and it already has a single crochet this side, so this time it's gonna have a single crochet this side, and chain 2, and then slip stitch to the first single crochet. So now you have another section of mesh to play with the next time around. Let's move on to round number 7. So round number 7 is very much like these other rounds that you see here. The only difference is there's more mesh to play with. So this time you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. See, last time there was only 3, so it gains 2 every time. So there was 1, and then 3, and now there's gonna be 5. So to begin, just like you had before, it's just bigger. It's just chain 3, and into the chain 2 space, double crochet first before moving forward, and then coming into the first mesh, just pull it up, you can see it, and it's gonna be 3 double crochet into each one of the mesh as you hit each side, and then in the corner spaces, just like it was before, it's gonna be 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and please do that all the way around, and this is round number 7, and you're gonna see then this one then appears to be lifted off, and that's what's creating the whole beautiful look of this Afghan. So let me meet you at the end of this round. So as I come all the way back around, I'm gonna hit that final corner. You got all your mesh filled in as you've gone all the way around. You can see it here on the back as well. And the final corner, again, you've already started there, so you just only have to put in 2 double crochet, followed by chain 2, and then just slip stitch to the top of the beginning, chain 3. So that's that round there. Let's move on to round number 8. So round number 8 is about building again the mesh. So we don't have any mesh right now, we gotta make it. So let's begin to do that again. So we're gonna chain up 1 and single crochet. So it's just like you already know. So we're gonna chain 3 to begin, 1, 2, 3, coming back 2 rows below right into the single crochet from behind, and it's a back post double crochet. So you're gonna continue to build, so chain 3, and just go and get to the next mesh that you see over here. So it's a back post double crochet. So you're building on top of each other in behind the scenes. So chain 3, you keep going along. So see the difference of the first time we ever did this? It's just wider. So you just got more to work with before you get to a corner. So chain 3. Okay, and don't forget you still have that final corner one over here. It's chain 3. It's a back post double crochet, and now you're ready to hit this final corner. So you got to chain 3 first, and now the corner is just single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet. So now you can just see that from this point of view you got the mesh being built in behind over here, which then we will be building again. So just to begin again, so chain 3 to begin, and then coming down to the other side of the corner 2 rows below, or 2 rounds below, and then just get it, okay, with the back post double crochet, and then chain 3, and just keep moving along. So please do that all the way around for round number 8. So as I come back around, I'm doing my mesh in the back. Do you notice it's a different color? It changed color while it was in this round. You know what that means? It means that when you go to work on these kind of things, do you see how the colors are kind of separated from each other? This one here happened to change in this round over here, so it appears a little like this. But then if it changes in behind, what happens is you end up with these ridges in behind that are just beautiful. Like it just as a complementary mix, just like you see. So if it changes in behind, it's actually a lot better. But if it changes in front, it's not a deal breaker as well, because that's what's creating the artistic ability to make it look fabulous. So I've just single crocheted in the final one, chain 2, and then just join just like this. Okay, so let's continue along, and we're gonna go to round number 9. So in round number 9, it's exactly what you've done here and here and here. It's just the same thing. It's just that there's gonna be more mesh to work with here. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So last time it was 5, this time it's 7. So it's more mesh to work with. So let's begin, and just it's exactly what you already know. So you're just gonna chain up 3, and then coming into the same chain 2 space, double crochet, and let's move forward from that point. So each one of the meshes will get 3 double crochets as you normally know. And so you will notice then, because this is a different color, is that it's gonna nest on top of each other and really create a really neat look when it comes to do this. So it'll make this actual lighter purple really pop out from the square. So it's kind of a neat concept in order to do it. That's why I chose this yarn, in order to play with this kind of design. I just thought it was kind of neat. So just continuing along, remember your corners are 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and please do the same concept all the way around. So I'm just finishing up this round here, and just coming in the final corner. Remember there's only 2 double crochet there, chain 2, and slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. So this is what it looks like so far, and because the color did a slight change last time, it's actually really neat. So you see that it's more of a lighter in the inside, and again that just happens to be a fluke. Let the yarn do its job. So if it turns out that it changes in the front, not a big deal, at least for me, and I think it's really quite amazing. So we have 2 more rounds to do, round number 10 and 11. So we have one more builder to do, so one more ladder. The way that I remember it, when I go to look at it here, you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's 4 layers that lift up. So right now I can only see 1, 2, and 3, and 4. See, I should see a total of 4 by itself. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's the way I remember it, and I keep one aside just to make sure that I'm doing it right. So let's move up to round number 10, which is building the ladder one more time. So let's begin round number 10. So we're gonna chain up 1 and single crochet into the same one. So again, it's just like what you already know, you're gonna play within the loops. So to start, chain 3, and then coming into the first one right down there, 2 rounds below, back post double crochet, and then chain 3, and then come to the next one. So just pull it, you can see it there, and just back post double crochet around that. So what I want you to do is that I want you to carry on doing this round. You already know what to do. The only difference is that there's more mesh to play with that you can see, and you can see it's building up in behind as well. So just continue to do that, and this is round number 10. It's already what you know, it's just bigger. So I'm coming up to the final of this round. Of course I'm running into the first one again, so just to finish off I gotta chain 3 before I get to the final corner after I've done this last one here, and single crochet in, chain 2, and join with the first single crochet. So we're just got one more round to do, and this is gonna build up on the final mesh that was there, and then you'll have that 4 layers that I talked about. So we see 1, 2, 3, and 4. We need one more here so that this 4th one looks like it's actually lifting off the project. So let's begin round number 11. So 11 is the final round of doing this effect, and this is gonna be kinda neat. So we're gonna chain up 3, and it's already what you know. So back into the chain 2 space, and for a double crochet, and then each one of the meshes this time is going to still get 3 double crochets. Again, the mesh is even bigger now, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then the corners chain 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Please do that all the way for round number 11. So I'm finishing up the final corner, and do not fasten off on this round, because the next round we're gonna do a join as you go. It's the final revolution of this square before moving on to something else. and so you're just gonna finish it off, chain 2, single crochet, or slip stitch to the first single crochet. So here's what it looks like here. You can see the beautiful layers just like so. Just shape it a little bit, just don't be scared to pull on it, and get it back to its square just like you should. So the next round is a join as you go, and let's talk a little bit about that because this is where you need to make important decisions. We just completed round number 11 together, and now the next round is going to be the join as you go, which joins to a neighbor. So let's review on what we're gonna do with that, and let's talk a little bit about what we have to do for the first square and then all the remaining squares. So let's begin that next. To begin the joining as you go, you have to complete the first square as if it's not being joined to a neighbor at all. So this is gonna be the base square that everything starts to attach to. So every one of the sides here has the chain 3 loops that allows a neighbor to be joined to it as you go. So the very first square you ever do, you have to go completely around, and we're gonna review that, and then that's it. So everything from this point forward then builds on this one here. So you can either build it from any side that you wish, and I always recommend when you go to build these kind of things, you can build up to 3 sizes or 3 sides. So if for example you can actually have a square on either side here that you can join to if you wanted to, even one down here, but I would not try to recommend doing 4 sides at once. So don't leave any gaps like that within your Afghan in order to do. So I have a diagram that I would like to show you, and this will help you also see this point of view as well. So here's what my sample looked like as I was crocheting it along, and you can see that I started building things together, and I started getting certain areas where I was getting a little heavy on certain colors. So you can actually start building on top of each other and keep working, but you may have an Afghan that's lopsided for maybe some of the colors of these squares not being in the right position. Once you put these squares into position permanently, it's very difficult to remove them out. I would not recommend it. It's not impossible, but it's not fun, let me tell you. So you can see that I put a square over here that's off by itself, this one by itself, these two went together, and so as I was finishing it I was looking at where the next square should be. So this Afghan is 4 wide by 5 long. So what I did even when I was in here, I was just making sure I was building. So I try not to leave any spaces. So for example, I try not leaving this empty as a gap so that I have 4 joints to do as I go around. The maximum I would do is 3. So 1, 2, and 3 as I was going, but most of them involve 2. So 1 and 2, and sometimes they just involve 1. So what I would recommend is that the first time and the first side that you're going to go down your square is that you start it off and you create it as normal, and then you start joining at this point, coming back and then finishing off here. So get that first side done first before before joining to a neighbor. It just makes it easier. So if you were doing this one here, I'd recommend doing the first side over here and then join, 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 and then join it back here. That's again your personal choice. So you will notice that because the squares change colors on their own as it's coming out of the yarn ball, that you have squares that look completely different. So sometimes you have a splash of color right in the center, sometimes you will have more deeper colors of a certain color right in the middle, sometimes you might be more white, and this is what makes this Afghan a lot of fun. So let's begin today, and let's talk about the joining process, and that's going to be coming next. So the joining process is involving these chain 3 spaces that you have within the outside, just like so. So the very first one that you will ever do is that you will always have the chain 3 spaces, and you can see those. So it's single crochet, chain 3, and single crochet back in, chain 3, and you can see that it's strategic, and we'll review that. So do you see how this red one kind of overlaps this one? This means that in this photograph when I did it, this red one here was attached after this one was already in. So this one is attaching to this one here, and you can see in this one here, see the red one here, see how this is overlapping this one? This means that this red was also here before this one was even attached, and I can even tell in this photograph that this was the last square that got attached within this round because it's attaching over. See the following the color, see how it's wrapping around and wrapping around this, so I can tell that this is the final square that went in to this particular section of this. So it's actually kind of a neat concept, and you can tell that this square was already here, this one was attached to here, and this one was attached to here. So you can see when you're really looking at it how you're building it up with each other. Now what you have to watch for is right in this center piece that all of them come together. So you're gonna have a chain 3 that's in the corner here. This is the corner turning, and each one of them has that, and you got to make sure that you're attaching to each to the same one so you don't end up with a gap right here in the center. It's not a big deal, you just got to watch for it, and it's just really easy. So let's take a look at the other final photo that I have. And this is what it looks like when it's all together, and you can still see I have some woven in ends, and I still had some work to do. So what I can see here is that I have 5 going down and 4, but this Afghan, the way that the border goes, you can go much bigger if you wish, and once it was all into position. So the reason why I did a join as you go and not as a sewing is that, see this color here, these other, like the lighter pink here, if I had a strand of yarn that was sewing them all together and it was this color, you would see it here and here and here and here. It'd be just terrible, even though it would be invisible right here. So then if I chose the red, then it would look good, okay, up to about here, because it doesn't appear there and here. So what I did is I did a join as you go so that you don't have any lines of yarn that are going through your Afghan that don't look like they belong. So the join as you go was the way to go. So what we're going to do then is that we're going to then just do the first round, and I'm just going to show you how to do it on the first 2 sides, and then I'm going to pull it apart and then restart again. And the reason why I'm going to do that is that I'm going to show you how to go around on this level here in order to do it, because the first one has to be all the way around with not attaching to anything, and then the next square that I've just finished here I will attach to this square here, and I'll show you how that is done. And it's a really quite an easy process as it is. So let's begin the first revolution. Assume this is your very first square that it has nothing to attach to. I'm going to show you how to get this one ready, and then I'm going to pull this out and then show you how to attach to a neighbor if you have that as an option. So the first one is always going to be by itself, and then the rest will always attach to something. So let's begin. We're going to chain up 1, and we're going to do 1 single crochet into this chain 2 space. We're then going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and you would have saw in the instructions, put a single crochet in between a group of 3 double crochet or 2 double crochet. The 2 double crochet are only on the corner right here, so you have to put a single crochet right into the space where those are separated. You see that? And then chain 3. So 1, 2, 3, continuing to work along. So do you see the group of 3s? So 1 and 2, put it right into the space in between, and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, just jump to the next space in between and keep doing that all the way across. So for your first revolution you'll be doing this all the way around without attaching to a neighbor, and I'll show you at the first corner, and then all the corners are then the same after that. When you get to the final corner of this, because you've already started with the single crochet like you already had before, it's just single crochet, chain 3, and then join to the first single crochet when you get to that spot. So it's kind of already what you know. It's just a matter of doing it for this round. So this is creating the loops that are going to attach to a neighbor as you're doing it. So you're coming up all the way to the first corner, and again, so there's the 3 there, there's the 2 which is part of your corner, so going right in between the 2 of those, and then chain 3, and then here's your corner. So it's gonna be single crochet, and instead of chaining 2 like we had been all the way along here, it's gonna be chaining a 3. 1, 2, 3, and then back into the same corner. So then you just turn your work and then continue down the next one. So you see the groups of 2 there, so just chain 3 to begin. So there's a group of 2 and 3, just put it in between, and then just chain 3, and then keep on going. So here's the next group, just right in between. So you're gonna end up with these beautiful lines going all the way around with the chain 3 loops, and that's what we're gonna use to attach to a neighbor. So let's let me pull that out now. So go all the way around with your first one, get that done, and then I'm gonna pull this out, and then I'm gonna show you how to attach to a neighbor. So I pulled a little section out. So what's gonna happen on here when you go to do these, you're gonna start off like you had as if it wasn't attached to anything, and you're gonna start off in the corner, and you're going to do exactly what I just showed you, but it's going to change right in this first corner, and we need to grab up our adjoining square that we want to do. So to do that, what we're going to do is that we're going to chain 3. We're gonna continue to get to the corner like we had been before. So 1, 2 and 3, and coming in. So the next time is gonna be the corner. So we still do our chain 3 to get to the corner in single crochet, and this is where the game plan changes. So we have our single crochet in. So you'll notice I just turned this, and what we had here, if you remember, is that we've been chaining 3. So that's the secret answer here. So what we have to do is that we have to look for the same spaces on the other one that we are going to attach to. So instead of chaining a 3 and single crocheting back into the corner, we're gonna only chain 1. So chain 1 and come into the next one and look for that chain 3 right in the corner, right there. And what you're going to do then is just insert in, okay, from the underside. Make sure both of these are facing up so you can see them, and then just join it with the slip stitch. So that would be classified as like chaining of 2 if you wanted to, and then chain 3. So it's single chain 1, slip stitch, which is number 2, and then chaining again is number 3, and coming back into the same space on this one here, single crochet. So now that loop has just now attached to its neighbor. So now you're gonna continue along. So do you remember the next one here? It's in between the group of 2 and 3. So you're gonna chain 1, look for the next loop that's on the other one here. Okay, do you see this is the 2 double crochets? So going in, slip stitch it. Okay, so that would be number 2, and chain is number 3, and then come back in. So the next one is in between the 2 that you see. Do you see that? So you're just jumping over. So chain 1, go into the next. So you're just working your way down these chains that you'd had already in the first one. So just in, slip stitch, chain 1, and back. So come to the next one. So just jumping over and then chaining 1, going to the next loop that's available to you. Okay, slip stitch, chain 1, coming back. So all you just got to do is that you just got to do this all the way of all the joins. So in the corners what happens is that sometimes this right now there's only 2 coming together, but there may already be one already sitting over here. So you just got to watch that. And so the only difference is instead of chaining 3 and putting it back in, if it's got to attach to a neighbor, you have to make sure that you are attaching as you go. So you just got to watch for that, and it just is really quite an easy process in order to do. The joining for me only took a few moments because I'm just bouncing between one and the other, and this is permanently joining. So you can see then in retrospect, you see how the lighter color is in the top of this one here. So I will be able to know in the future, not that it really matters, is that this square was actually attached to this square and not the other way around. And it's just one of those mindless little things that is good to know just in case you ever have to pull something out if you made a mistake or if you want to move things around. I strongly recommend that you don't ever have to take a square out if you've already got it set, because that is really kind of a pain because you don't know which squares are attached to which. Okay, so it might make it quite difficult. So I'm just working my way all the way to the other side, and you're just matching everything together. So you have to watch your outsides here. So the next one here is going right to an outside, but before you continue along this side, don't forget you still have an outside gap over here. It's that chain 2, or sorry, that's that chain 3 over there. So chain 1 and go to that outside one. That's the corner. Chain 1 and come back. So don't forget to do that because you will have one loop that looks like it's missing if you do that, and then you'll end up with a gap. So we don't have any more squares to attach to, and you can see it's a nice join right here, and then you just continue the rest of it. If you have another square to attach, just continue. So you chain 1 going to the neighbor and then back, and then and back, and keep doing that. And if you have 3 joints, then it may you have one over here, but then this one over here there should be nothing. So continue along like that, and what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to finish this off going all the way around, and then I'm gonna show you how to do the border. So if there's nothing to attach to, you just do your chain 3s as normal, just like I'm about to. And the nice thing about it is that I designed the border so you can change the sides of this Afghan without having to worry about the border being reflective of a change. So you don't have to get a new type of border every time you do a change. So it can be just standard. So it's kind of a cool thing. So continue to go all the way around, and I will see you back here in just a moment, and we will start then the border from that process. So as you get all the way back around, this is where you started doing those loops. So you want to make sure that you're kind of following that, and you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This is where there's 2 there that separate those 2. Coming into the very final corner with the single crochet and chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then just slip stitch to the beginning like this. So you're gonna fasten off this time, and you're gonna fasten off weaving your ends, but at this point what you need to do is that you need to go and start another square. So you're not gonna do the final outside border that I'm about to show you now until all of your squares are now complete. So you can do up to 20 that you wanted to. If you want to do less, that's completely up to you. And so this is what it will look like at this point. It's a nice join. You see the colors are really quite amazing when they work together, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. So in the next part of this tutorial I'm gonna show you how to do the border, and the border is really quite easy. And I say that about a lot of things, but it really truly is. And we'll be back in just a moment. So let's assume that my Afghan is now done and I'm about to do the final border. I'm not worried about what color I start with, because some of the squares may have the same color right on the outside of it, and others may be completely opposite. That's what makes this Afghan a lot of fun. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna notice is that it's gonna indent slightly, and that's because you were working the back posts, and those will straighten out and they actually make it look like it's indenting in. That's what gives it the charm. So what I want you to do is create a slip knot first, and I'm gonna show you how to be able to go across. So I'm gonna just choose a corner over here because I wanna show you what to do here, because this is the big thing. I actually had to do this border on my whole Afghan 3 times in order to get it right, in order to not prevent the ruffle, or to prevent the ruffle from happening over and over. So let's start off in the corner, and we're just gonna start off with a slip stitch to join, just like so. So what I decided to do is that in order to keep it looking consistent, I started the border with just double crochet. So I'm gonna chain up 3, so 1, 2 and 3, that counts as one of them, and then double crochet back into there. So this is right into the corner of the chain 3 space. So just like you had done before, see how they were in groups of 3 coming up? I want to maintain that. So this is a chain 3, and I'm gonna do groups of 3 again. So just chaining or double crocheting 3 times into each one of these chain 3 spaces right in the top. So the trick is that I'm trying to maintain the stitch counts properly so that the border can sit down properly, and it's actually not a really hard thing to do. And what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna fast forward now, and I'm gonna show you what happens when you get here, because that's the determining factor whether it's gonna ruffle or not on you. So as you get close to where you gotta join, you just gotta watch those. This is where I had to continue to pull out my border, and I didn't really notice it the first time around. It was the second time, and usually I finish most of the border before I actually realize I got a problem. So I'm continuing to do 3 double crochets into each up until I get to where they're joining together. So right where we're gonna notice here is that this here is the chain 3 that is the final of this one, and right here is the chain 3 which is the final of this one. This one's gonna look weird because this is the one that reached over and joined to the neighbor. So you gotta watch that. So right into that space there's only gonna be 1 double crochet, and then jumping to the other side there's only gonna be 1 double crochet. Okay, so right where they join there's gonna be 1 double crochet on one side, 1 double crochet on the other, and then you pick up in the next chain 3 space. You're going to then start up as normal. So 3 double crochets again until you get to the next join where it continues along. In my case we're gonna run into a corner, but if there's 4 wide or 5 long, you're gonna continue to run into that. So every time you hit that, that's what you need to do here, and that will help you prevent the ruffling. So let me fast forward and show you how to do a corner. So as you get to the corner you're gonna see this is the chain 3 at the corner, and in the corners only there's gonna be 2 double crochet into the corner, and then chain 2, and then 2 double crochet into the same corner. So the corners will always be the same for this no matter what round we're on when we do the outside borders. So it's gonna be 2, 2 and 2. So just turning your work and continuing then along the mesh area, and then eventually you'll run into again more joins. Again I've showed you how to do that, and continue all the way around of doing this, and this is round number 1 of the border. So after coming around the border you will see everything is gonna be looking great, and your final corner is gonna be the same as what you already know. So it's gonna be 2 double crochet and then chain 2, and then join to the top of the beginning chain 3. So here's what we have. So the rest of the border is gonna be really quite easy. So we got we have a total of how many rounds? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Gonna be a total of 6 rounds. So that was round number 6. Now that you've gone all the way around, including these spaces right here in the middle, everything is really quite simple from this point. I kept it very, very simple. So to start the next round, which is a single crochet, you're just gonna do the chain 1 and then 2 single crochets into the chain 2 space, and then each one of the double crochets is all gonna get 1 single crochet each. That's it. That's as hard as it gets on this particular pattern. And then when you get to a corner, it's always gonna be the same. 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochet. So right now what you're gonna do, and you can see this on the pattern as well, so you got a double crochet, single, double, single, double, and single. So you're just gonna have to just continue to go around and around. Now you'll notice that the color is matching each other right now. That's because it's not a big Afghan that I'm working on right now. It's just a sample, but chances are when you go and do the rounds is that it'll change color in the ball. So each one of the rounds will have a different color, and if there is the same color, it just is gonna be overlap for a little bit and then change. So that's just as per it comes out of the ball. So this is a really easy pattern. There's only 6 rounds to do with the border. So because it changes color, you end up with nice fine lines of these colors that you see here popping in and out of the border, and it just makes it really quite simple to be able to follow. So this is how you do this particular Afghan. This is the Hypnotic Tile Afghan. This is a pattern by me for you, and it's free, and I hope that you enjoy. So if you get this done, I'd love to see your work on Facebook. Until next time, have a great day. Bye bye.